So the F-35A it is. South Korea has decided to buy 40 of Lockheed Martin's F-35 stealth fighter jets, ending a long, drawn-out process aimed at replacing its aging fleet and beefing up the country's defenses. Well, the decision came roughly 2 months after the original tender process got bogged down after the government decided not to purchase the Boeing's F-15 Silent Eagle because it lacked stealth capability. Yet the decision to buy the F-35 isn't without its opponents either. Just how fit is this model for South Korea's newly revised security strategy, and can the country afford it? Well, joining us live in the studio to give us some perspective is Dr. Byoung-joo, head of KL&P Consulting, and of course our regular commentator on this program. Good afternoon to you, Dr. Kim.
Good afternoon.
Now, critics say the choice of the F-35A takes Korea into the challenging situation of a seller's market. Now, tell us, what does this mean?
Right, it's a very kind of troubling situation here, because initially what happened was, those three models, F-15 SE that you mentioned, and the Eurofighter Typhoon from Europe, as well as F-35A, were competing. At that time, it was like full competition and commercial-based competition. But the thing is, when back in September, when F-15 SE was chosen, that was chosen based on this kind of price competition. But now, because of the changed required operation capability or capacity, to seek full fifth-generation stealth capability now, F-15 SE is out and the Eurofighter is out. Now there is only one single model. With that, Korea cannot go with like full price-based market competition. Now what we will go with is FMS style, like foreign military sales system that United States government runs. In that case, what happens is you sign an initial contract, but that contract does not have the final price on it. And especially because F-35A is still being developed and not fully commissioned or deployed and at the actual, the military front lines, we don't know the final price of this airplane yet. So there is a chance that actually Korea will have to agree with higher price than what it's thinking about. At this point in Korea, it's known that we will be paying about 180 billion won per unit of this fighter jet, but we don't know the final price. It's just a guess. And so in that case, Lockheed Martin, the manufacturer, will have upper hand in terms of asking for higher price if they have to come up with higher price at the end. And meaning that if you get to sell a lot more planes, we are quite sure that overall price of each unit will go down. But if they are facing some cancellation requests from different countries not buying this airplane anymore, and unlike originally planned. So in that case, if that continues, actually unit price will have to continue to go up, and if the testing itself requires more cost, it will continue to go up. So this is a seller's market, which is not good for Korea.
Right, that sounds very risky to me. Basically, it's signing a contract without knowing how much I'll end up paying in the end.
Specifically, yes.
Right. Now, there are also reports that the U.S. Department of Defense is bitterly divided now on a controversy surrounding the F-35's development. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, last year, indeed, we thought we were hearing the peak of this controversy, F-35 controversy. Different countries were pulling out, such as Australia, Canada. Canada had a big controversy about this in buying these planes, and Turkey kind of unofficially pulling out. We thought that was the peak, but this year, actually, right before the government shut down, which was about a month ago, audit report came out of Defense Department. I think that the audit report itself is available for public, and this audit office within the Defense Department got into a big fight against this project office that runs F-35 development project, and they got into a yelling match and saying, audit office pointing out all these things that went wrong in terms of controlling the price, controlling the test procedure and all that kind of stuff, and the project office kind of yelling back, arguing back, saying that's not the case. That was only about a month-old dispute, and that is widely reported in the United States. So in the United States itself, there is a wild awareness that F-35 itself is a project, quote-unquote, according to some of the experts, a project that has ate the Defense Department basically here. So there are a lot of unhappiness here in terms of cost control, and they don't know the final prices. So a lot of disputes are still going on. In that case, under this situation, the fact that Korea will have to buy this airplane itself is a irony or dilemma, to say the least.
Right. Like you said, Dr. Kim, the final choice of buying the F-35As was was based on the F-35's full fifth generation stealth capability.
Right.
But critics seem to have doubts about whether that was the best idea.
Right. It's an interesting debate. There are two groups here. One group says actually that's saying not that argument here. They're saying basically, look, F-35A has 4 missiles, 2 missiles for air-to-air, and then 2 missiles air-to-land. And air-to-land, there are 2 missiles. They're all hidden inside the body so that they can maximize the stealth capability. And if they have 2 missiles to use to hit the target on the ground, multiply that by 40 units that we are buying. That means 80 target destruction capabilities we have. This group says, well, look, inside North Korea, we have 8,000 targets. So 80 targets, that's not sufficient. One group is saying that. The other group is saying that, however, all we need is to destroy the capability that runs the North Korean radar system. So there, do we need this kind of 80 missiles? We already have these missiles that can be fired from inside South Korea that can hit these targets, cruise missiles and all that kind of plenty of available. So this group is saying, do we really need 40 full stealth capability, jet fighters? Because once this radar system is destroyed, we can have all of our air power inside North Korean air, and then we can do all this stuff. And in that case, what we need is like these old generation fighter jets that can carry lots of armaments. Unlike stealth F-35, that's limited in terms of capability of carrying this armament. So they say, what we need actually to destroy North Korea's defense system more completely after their radar system is wiped out, we need older generation fighters. So there is that debate.
Now, which brings into question whether the final choice of F-35 shows that Korea is more concerned with regional strategic balance, meaning such as China, Russia, and Japan, what they're doing about their fifth generation fighter jets, now than the immediate threat from North Korea.
Right, indeed, because of what we said about disagreement about the need to the need that we have in dealing with North Korea, there is a view. Indeed, the reason why South Korea really is seeking these full fifth generation stealth jet fighters is because of what's going on around the country in the region. Here in China, for instance, they I think have already introduced. They are almost done with the testing of their J-20, fifth generation stealth fighter jet. And in Russia, they have a PAC-FA model that's being developed, almost near completion itself. And Japan is buying F-35Bs. Bs are the ones that has the vertical takeoff capability, F-35. F-35A that we are buying are the Air Force model that uses runway. But still, Japan has those full generation, fifth generation stealth bomber. Russia, China all have one. So there, the critics and experts are saying the reason why South Korea is seeking this model particularly is to have a better balance to deal with neighbors rather than really specifically North Korea.
And yet, this is not the end of the story for South Korea's fighter jet project. Now, what are some of the uncertainties that still do remain? The
FMS process, foreign military sales process that the United States government runs, where we will actually, we might actually discover a surprise price rise indeed. In that case, we have fixed budget of 8.3 trillion won available for this program. So we might actually get to buy fewer than 40 units at the end. There is another surprise. And at the end, after all this program is done, there will be continuous debate and evaluation of this program. One example is Japan actually not buying 42 planes, but actually buying 3 or 4 models and the rest of 30-some of the units building themselves inside Japan, getting better deal than Korea. And there will be a debate about why we got this worse deal than Japan, and there will be political debates and wranglings continuously going on probably after this point, and we will have to closely watch.
And not that we haven't had enough of those political wrangling leading up to this final decision.
Right.
All right, Dr. Byoung-joo, thank you so much for today. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay.